been a small sample, but with a lot of the recent trades that have gone on here, we've seen a lot of new faces and a lot of new jerseys. And we just talked about it last week with all the moves that were going on. We really wanted to see who was going to be looking the best, especially right out the gate, how we thought they were going to impact the teams, not only in their current state, but as well as the other teams surrounding them, as well as their position in their conference standings. And with all the things going on, it's a little interesting so far. I think we've seen some things that I don't think anyone's really anticipated. So let's kind of talk about what we've seen so far, who's really stood out the most, and how much value that actually brings. I think one of the biggest ones that I honestly want to talk about just off rip is going to be Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was someone who we talked about last week. We were kind of like, okay, is he actually want to be a real contender or not? How dedicated is he to winning versus, money? And now that we've seen he signed that extension with the Warriors, looks like he is committed to them at least for the next 3 years, currently at his age. So let's take a look at how he's been doing, and not only for where the Warriors are at, but how do we feel on just really this move overall, and do we think that it's actually going to benefit the Warriors potentially in the long run? And by long run, I mean at least this current season here.
And you said in the long run?
I would say short run right now, right? Like this year for Jimmy Butler, it's like, let's see how he's been hooping, right? For how he's been hooping, he's put up some pretty decent numbers, right? Like if we pull it up, Jimmy Butler so far this year, in terms of, not this year, but since he's gotten to Golden State, we see he's averaging
21, 7, and 5 on 45, 14, and 85.
Yeah. So, I mean, doing that, I mean, he's done that over the course of what? They have a 3-1 record. They beat
4 games.
4-1, actually. Oh,
No,
wait,
no,
4
no, 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 just 4 games. But you were right, 3-1.
Okay, yeah. So they've been 3-1 so far. So we saw, if we take a look here, they were able to beat the Bucks, which, I mean, Jimmy historically has just always dominated them, right? Then after that, they also were able to beat the Rockets. They lost to the super injured, no one available Dallas Mavericks. And outside of that, who was the other team they beat, if you know off the top of your head, Michael?
The Rockets.
No, we already said the Rockets. We got the Rockets.
It was
the Bulls. Yeah, Rockets, Bulls, Bucks.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
And they lost to Dallas. Okay, so how do we feel about those games so far? Like what do you think about Jimmy now that you've seen him in a Warriors uniform and for what he's been putting up?
He looked exactly how I thought he was gonna look. I think he gives them like Jimmy is such a smart player that he doesn't even know the system yet, and he's already moving without the ball. But I think it's gonna be a smoother transition for him than most people think. And the reason I say that is because what most people don't understand is that Miami has been Golden State East almost for like 3 years now. Like, is it like they don't have quite the same ball movement, but a lot of the dribble handoff stuff and the top of the key playmaking that they use with Bam is a lot of the same stuff that Draymond does. So like when you see Jimmy Butler, when Steph is running that curl where he comes up and there's supposed to be a screen for him here, and so Jimmy's supposed to give the ball up, Draymond's supposed to have the screen, Steph is supposed to get it and then shoot it at the 3-point line, but you see Jimmy hesitate to give it up, finally give it up once Steph gets all the way up there and then get a clean cut to the basket. That's stuff that he was running in Miami. Like, that's why he knows it. Like, they know that playbook. So it's one of those things where I think it's going to be a smooth transition for him. It's looking good right now. And once Jimmy get his wind up under him, if him and Steph can be playoff Jimmy and Steph, I mean, they'll at least be a tough out.
Yeah. It's a little surprising, too, because I think those are a lot of great points right there. Jimmy really has, like, implemented himself early on in this Steve Kerr Warrior system right now. Michael, how do you think about it so far? Do you think that Jimmy really kind of like, now that we've seen a few games, has been like a good piece for them and that maybe this is the move they needed? Or do you think that Jimmy's just off to a hot start right now?
No, I think he's good. I think he's very impactful for what they have. The issue is it's not enough. That won't be close to it. It won't be close to enough for them to be able to compete for a championship. Like that. Like if their intention was to win some regular season games and potentially get into the play-in, solidify themselves as a play-in team or a low playoff seed, then yeah, I think they're successful. If their goal was to win a championship with this, it's not happening. Even on a greater point, if their goal is to contend in years future, even less of a chance because Jimmy is going to be taking up a majority of their cap. He will be the highest paid player on the team by next season.
Ooh, that is a big point. I did not even think about that. That's interesting.
Jimmy will be making $60 million.
When does Steph's $60 million kick in?
$60 million?
Yeah, Steph signed a 1 year $62 million extension like a year ago. When does that kick in?
I can tell you right now. Give me a second.
Is that the season after next?
He's signed until 2027. He makes $59 million next year. He makes $62 in 2027.
Okay, that's when it was. So it's the season after next. You got $120 million split between Jimmy and Steph in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So that really is eating up like a lot of their salary cap then. So I was going to ask this question, but now that brings up a very good point here. So, Michael, if you feel like currently Jimmy Butler right now is kind of there or was brought on to, win some regular season games to be somewhat a competitive team, going to you, Blick, my first question is this. With the addition of Jimmy Butler, how much more competitive do you think the Warriors actually are with this new addition here? And where do you see them kind of just falling in line?
I feel like, what is, the thing about this trade is it doesn't move me. It doesn't move me at all. Like, obviously, it makes the Warriors better because Jimmy Butler will make a lot of teams better. But overall, it just doesn't move me. I can see them being a tough game 6, game 7 for certain teams. But I don't see them getting to no conference finals. And depending on where they fall, I don't even see them getting out the first round. Because I just don't see the real point of this trade. The only thing I can see is we got Jimmy Butler because we didn't want to look stupid because we tried to get Kevin Durant, we tried to get this dude, we tried to get that dude. So we got to get someone in the door just to make it look like we're trying to do something. You know that meme, looking busy at work, but really you're doing shit. That's them. They're the people looking busy at work when they're really gonna really produce nothing. If they do better than a second round, that's a success. If they get to the second round, that's cool. But if you're talking about winning a championship and I'm hearing Draymond say this is our last year, this is our last hurrah, your last hurrah was when you won that championship. This ain't no last hurrah. It's over with. It's over with. You ain't winning nothing, man. Your guys are old. You're at the tail ends of your career, and you got a small window to win where there's still so many teams better than you. And Jimmy Butler isn't the guy to take you over the edge to the next step. And yeah, man, this may be I don't know if this is a hot take. What's the difference between Jimmy Butler moving from here to Miami? What is he improved upon in terms of championship aspects?
What is Jimmy improved on, or what is the franchise improved on?
I mean Jimmy. Like he was in the Heat. Yeah. What could he do better on the Warriors that he couldn't do on the Heat at this current moment?
I think it's not so much about what he can do better on the Warriors than he did on the Heat. It's more so what can he bring to the Warriors at the Heat that they didn't already have, and what that is a secondary ball handler.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because their best secondary ball handler was truly like, well, honestly, they didn't have one. It was like ball handling by committee. It
was sometimes Tyler Hero, and there was sometimes it was Bam Adebayo. It was gross.
I'm talking about the Warriors, not the Heat.
Oh, the Warriors. Okay.
Yeah, the Warriors, they pretty much lived and died by Steph. This is the reason as to why Steph was chucking up shots, a lot of shots. And they were very inefficient because they had to double him every time he touched the ball, which they're still going to do that. That isn't going to change because Jimmy can't shoot. So because of that, that doesn't really change their outcomes, but it means that if they do get the ball to Jimmy, he's somebody who can actually do something with it. As opposed to them having to hand the ball.
Oh no! Actually, let me say this. What I meant like, okay. So when he was on the Heat, where did you see the Heat getting to in the playoffs in the East?
Nowhere, but that's also because of Jimmy, because Jimmy wasn't trying.
Okay, so let's say if he was trying, where'd you see? Where's the furthest they could get to in the East?
The second round.
Finals.
Okay, where's the furthest they could get to on the Warriors?
The second round.
You see, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It's the same thing. It's just a money move. That's it.
It is a money move. Hold on, honey. Go ahead. You probably understand what I was saying.
Cook, I see something on you, bro.
You probably understand.
The one thing I was about to say is, I think Blick, you're underrating just a little bit, like how bad Miami was when Jimmy got to the finals that second time. Like,
oh no! I knew that was
sheer talent upgrade and going to the Warriors is massive. Like, it's a massive talent upgrade.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying the West is more stacked.
Oh no, yeah, the West is if Golden State was in the East, they're not a better team than Boston, but they could come out of the East if they were trying to get to the finals, if they were in the East. But it's just no chance in the West because most of the teams in the West would be Eastern Conference Finals teams. You know what I'm saying? So like they got a tough matchup every round. So I get what you're saying though. It don't really change the prospects.
And that's the thing. That's what I was going to get at. The thing is, while you're right, it's not much of a difference for him. It's a big difference for them though, because their outcome would be
miss the play-in,
missed playoffs.
Yeah,
entirely.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I go for it.
No, because I was about to ask BG a question. So go with you.
No. I was just gonna say that to me personally, when you said that the Miami Heat of the West, it makes sense because they're really gonna be going out the same way, except against tougher competition, man. Like okay, man. Hey, you're going out either way, second round max. It's just that you're against tougher competition while you're against easy competition. The one thing that Jimmy and Steph could hope, miraculously, I wouldn't pray injuries, man. But if there were injuries to benefit their favor, I would be seeing this as an opportunity to try and do something and try and use their experience to kind of finesse their way to places that they shouldn't be. That's the only thing you could say because obviously Steph Curry's a game changer and Jimmy hasn't played with a game changer.
So, see, Steph is a game changer, but this season, I'm not gonna hold you. This might be the one where
that's why I said injuries.
No, yeah, of course, but I'm saying even with injuries, you're really gonna have to hope and pray, but they lose some of their best players, all of their best players.
Because I'm not saying my Phoenix Suns their way through the bitch.
Hey, so I got a question before we move on from Jimmy and the Warriors, right? BG, question, because you know the cap better than I do. If Jonathan Kuminga was on a extension, would his salary impact in a trade be higher this year?
What do you mean?
Or would it have been the same? Okay, so like you know how Jonathan Kuminga is still on his rookie contract, right? If he had signed his rookie extension this summer, could he have been moved in? Like, you know how like you pretty much got to match contracts because of the CBA now, right? If he would have signed an extension, could he have been moved for Jimmy Butler this season, or would his money still have not matched?
No, I think well, for one, no. Even if he signed the extension, I don't think he'd be allowed to be traded this season. But even if that wasn't the case, he would still be on his, because it's an extension, he would be on the last year of his deal, so he'd still be making his rookie money. Like, the money he makes this year is $6 million. He would have been making $6 million with or without the extension. But now with Jimmy,
so it wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, but with Jimmy being signed, it also kind of makes it harder for them to even do that extension, for them to be able to even do that extension. Because
my thinking was, my thinking was if it would have counted, I would think of the Warriors very differently if they had Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins. Like, if they had both of them, I would think very differently about them. It's just, unfortunately, you got to give up one to get the other.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just that even with I don't know what that would have looked like at all. Like,
Would have moved Wiggins to the 2.
Oh no. More so, I'm talking about the trade. I don't know what the trade would look like if they would have been able to keep Wiggins. Like, do they give up Kuminga and something and other things? I don't really know what else that is.
You probably would have had to give up Draymond to make the money work.
Mm-hmm.
Which wouldn't have worked, so I wouldn't have done it.
Which, now that you brought this up, this makes me pose another question to you guys. So, we've already talked about how Jimmy's addition, we agree, might be fair for the Warriors, but in terms of movement, we're not sure exactly where it places it. But if we're going off of what Blix is mean, trying to look busy at work, trying to look like you're trying to do something here with the Warriors, do we think that Jimmy is good enough to put up a stint here in the Bay Area between him and Steph and, the supporting cast to actually want to attract other players to come to the Bay? Do we think this is enough to get people to actually want to come and play Golden State now?
No.
Oh, no. No, not at all. Well, that's not good. I'm looking at their money for next season. They make about the same money they like. Here's the thing: their total payroll this year is $175 million with 13 players. They make about the exact same. Their total payroll is about the exact same with less players because of Jimmy's contract now.
So, go more in depth than that. What does that really mean for the Warriors, then?
That means they won't really be able to add anything of value. Like, that means that if they were to sign that because how much were they planning to pay Kuminga? $100 million.
This is what they want to pay him. They want to pay him like 125, I think.
So 125 for what? 5 years?
Something like that.
So that's a $25 million addition to his contract. That means they would be paying $195 million in payroll. They would be in the second. It would be in the second apron already, off of Kuminga signing. Do you think that Jonathan Kuminga is worth the second apron? I don't.
I mean,
I don't know if they go into the second apron if they move Draymond.
I don't know. And I'll be real here. I mean, I know we've said it off cam plenty of times, but I have already never really been too high on Jonathan Kuminga to begin with. I understand he is, the way the Warriors view him, he's practically their little baby brother, and they just want to nurture him to become this unlocked potential superstar they feel like he could be. And even though he shows signs of that, I've never been moved by Jonathan Kuminga enough to be like, yeah, this is like the investment, in my opinion. So with that kind of money, I don't know. I mean, I think it's an easy decision in my opinion. I think this is kind of a decision that's been dragged on for longer than needed to. I think the Jonathan Kuminga experiment's already failed, but I mean, that's a whole different tangent. But based on the financial situation of the Warriors, it sounds like they kind of are putting themselves in a deep hole. In my opinion.
Well, they are. But you said if they get rid of Draymond, how are they going to do that? Who's going to sign Draymond? Or who's going to trade for Draymond, rather?
Somebody might.
Vet minimum. Go back to Memphis, man. We talked about
He's not going to Memphis.
Hey, but
welcome.
to answer
Go ahead.
what you were saying earlier about free agents coming to the Bay, why would I go to the Bay and Luka play in L.A.?
Exactly.
Why would I go play with them old niggas? Luka play in L.A., baby. I'm going right down the road. What they talking about?
Man,
going to San Francisco. Nigga.
Oh my goodness.
He's not wrong about those ages, though, because what the ages? 35, 36, 35, 34, 32, 32, 31, 31, 31, 20, 28. 28
senior citizens.
Yeah.
Those are uncles, man.
Why would I go down there with them, bro? That's what I'm saying. I'm about to go down there. Draymond about to call me out my name. You know what I'm saying?
punching
Tell
your
me I'm
mouth
not
if you
setting the
looking
screen
crazy?
right. Like, come on, bro. I ain't going to play with them.
Because keep this in mind, their young core is Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Quentin Post.
You still got that dude Moses Moody?
That's
play.
He just played in the
garbage.
All-Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't an all-star. He was.
I'm gonna keep it
he
a
was
beam
No,
with
the
you,
skills
though.
challenge, yes. Go ahead.
I'm going to keep it a beam with you, though. Cause I'm going to let us get off Golden State. But Cosmic, part of the reason that they young core not that good is because Steve Kerr don't play them. Like, Steve Kerr be holding them back. Steve Kerr just not right for young pieces. So if they go keep Steve Kerr, which he's on the contract extension, until Steph get out of there, then, I mean, I feel like they got to move. They should sign and trade Kuminga. Trade Moses Moody. They got to get out of there because Steve Kerr don't want to play young players anyways. So
I don't even know. Is he under contract?
who?
yeah, no,
Moses Moody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a contract extension this summer.
Yeah.
He makes money too.
It's so crazy because when you really think about the Warriors' young core, it's like the Warriors, from what it looks like, it's almost like they have been too scared to enter into that rebuilding part of the franchise while they still have Steph Curry attached to it. And it's very evident because not only is that such a great point you just brought up, but it's like we could have got a young guy, but we got a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler because he's established. We could develop our young core, but we're not going to give them the minutes because we don't want to give them the opportunity to gain that trust and rapport with our system. You can tell they're still very Steph-faced for the Warriors here. And while if you go down to your neighbor's house in LA, you see that they're preparing to understand that there will need to be a new face. That's why we saw this Luka trading here, funny enough. While with this Steph trade here, it's like we didn't get a new face. We just got I don't know if I want to call him a Robin, but in reality, it's kind of like just another partner to team up with our current star here. And even then, it's like, nothing says we are ready to take that next step when available. So it seems like Jimmy really is kind of that. Jimmy is the Steph Curry support, but none of these things support the Warriors franchise, if you guys understand what I'm saying. Nothing says this is going to make our franchise continue to be what we've attempted to make it or what we have made it over this last decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
The Jimmy Butler era in Golden State is going to be the part of the documentary that is at the very end and gets about 5 minutes. And the Jimmy, but you know how like they be having the praise music and then they had a black and white still frame and they say this person went on to do this. Like they're gonna talk about the Jimmy Butler years after the 22 championship and they're gonna be like Golden State went on to have a couple more seasons where they made the playoffs but never ultimately got back to the championship, and they're not even gonna mention Jimmy Butler being in Golden State.
That was crazy, Ian. You know what's crazy, T-Dub? You just got clipped. This is a clip, man. I'm gonna come for you, man. They're gonna be like, what you mean?
Hey, I'm with it, baby. Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Nah, but for real though, man. This is one of those things that, like you said, if you're going to California and you're looking for a new team, you got Luka, a guy that's about to turn 26 years old, and then you got Steph Curry. You got all these old people that can retire every given year, because when you enter this territory as an athlete, you can literally just decide you're retiring mid-season or decide you're retiring at any point in time. It's like a year-to-year to half a season basis at this point in their careers. So it's a very slippery slope, because imagine you being a young guy and I go to the Warriors, I want to play with Steph, and Steph announces at the end of the season, I'm hanging it up, or I'm hanging it up next year because I don't feel like I can continue playing at this level. That's the territory that you're entering. Whereas with the Lakers, they put themselves in a position where, okay, LeBron, you can retire anytime you want. We got Luka right here. Take your time. There's no pressure. We got Luka right here. Vibe out. have fun, do what you need to do. We got our future secured, instead of being in a situation where we're trying to squeeze out as many playoff runs, championships as we can with a guy that has literally made our franchise relevant. Because people don't understand the net worth of the Golden State Warriors before Steph was. They weren't worth nowhere near as much before Steph Curry. Steph Curry came and he made that team a global team, man. Nobody spoke about the Warriors where I'm from in the UK until Steph got there. Because he represents people that are like the smaller end of the spectrum, being able to shoot from deep and showing that we can actually bring superstar value while being 6'3". So it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be tough because how do you transition from the greatest shooter in basketball? That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. The Lakers did the right thing. They transitioned from the greatest player, I mean, in my opinion, of all time, to, damn, the guy who looks like he could be you could argue, the face of the league. We talked about it in our last podcast. He was the best player in the league last year, practically almost the best player in the world, and now we're seeing that the Lakers are taking that step to, again, put that new face on it. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm really curious to see where Golden State ranks, how they do. It looks like from what we're discussing here, if I take a look at the Warriors right now, my last question to kind of close off this topic here is, where do we see the Warriors ending up? Do we see them being a clinched playoff position team, or are they a play-in team? And depending on one of those two answers, where do they end up? Do they get bounced in the first, second, third round, or do they not even make it even that far?
I got a broom right here. They're getting swept.
Swept when, though? When do they get second round?
First or second round, man. First or second round. They get to choose, man. You know, like in boxing, where you want to go out your face or your back. You're going out either way. Yeah.
Look, it seemed like you misunderstood the question. He was asking, are they a play-in team or a playoff team?
Oh, they're a playoff team, but they get bounced either way. It doesn't matter.
They're a playoff team?
Yeah, they're a playoff team. They get bounced either way. Or maybe a play-in team. Playoff play-in team. Don't matter, man. They'll make it to the playoffs and they'll get their asses handed out.
Okay. I'm going play-in team. And because I'm going play-in team, if they're the 7th seed, at best case scenario, they get the 7th seed. If they're the 7th seed, they got either Memphis or Denver. That's an ass whooping. Mm-hmm. That's an ass whooping on the way. And if they get OKC, brooms. Brooms. OKC and get them boys up out of here. OKC and get them boys up out of here. So I think Warriors going out first round. If they get Denver, it'll probably be a 5-game series, 6-game series, but it'll be a tough 5 or 6. I think they don't want to see Memphis though.
Mm-mm.
I think Memphis will tear them a new one. Mm-hmm. So I like their best hope is to get Denver, or just get either one of them and just hope somebody, Lord forbid, gets hurt or something. Like, cause I'm gonna be quite honest, they get OKC or they get Memphis, yeah, it's raps. It's rappy.
So, building off what you said, if they're getting Memphis or OKC, that right there already tells us that they are going to be a very low-seeded team potentially off rip.
Yeah.
So,
I don't see them getting to the 6th seed.
Yes. So
I don't see that.
So before I go on my next thing, tell me, Michael, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they do have a very favorable schedule going forward. They have the Kings, like their next 5 games is the Kings, the injured Mavs, the Hornets, Orlando, and the 76ers, and then Hornets again. They don't have a tough matchup until March 4th, which is the Knicks. So if they lose any time before then, they might as well just chalk the season up.
They're gonna win all them games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they win, if they don't win all 5 of these games, might as well just chalk the season up at that point, because they're not gonna have an easier stretch than this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, where they currently seated?
They're
10th
currently
seed.
seated at the 10th seed. So let's go back to what I did last week, guys. So we're going to go through the Western Conference and tell me, are the Warriors better than these teams, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder.
No.
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 Memphis.
No.
No.
Nuggets.
No.
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 Rockets.
Probably.
Okay, so we got the Rockets. The Lakers.
No.
Fuck no.
No.
Clippers.
No. No, they're not better than them.
Timberwolves.
No. I don't think so.
No.
Potentially.
I don't,
Potentially.
I don't think so. They don't. I don't
Potentially.
Think, I think on the star power front, they're not better than. They don't have anybody.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, but the Timberwolves can't score.
They can't.
Timberwolves
Like,
have
that's-
no offense.
but
They have no identity on offense. They don't.
But
They
their
have Ant
defense-
Edwards at the arc.
But their defense has improved dramatically recently, and it's gotten to a point where I think they're just gonna win the way they used to. They're not gonna be as
Hey.
effective as they once were because they don't have two offensive options. But still,
Before I even beat, I'm not even gonna go on a tangent. But you want to know why their defense is better now?
why is that?
No Julius.
Because Julius
Randle.
fucking Randle gone. Yeah. That's exactly
Once
why.
Julius Randle went out, dude, Ant went back to scoring. That's a topic for a whole other day. Oh my god. All
But
right.
anyways, continue.
Sacramento.
Uh,
Yeah. They're better.
yeah,
than
they're
them.
better
Yeah.
than Sac.
Yeah,
They're better
yeah.
than Sac.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're better.
Yeah,
than
they're
Phoenix.
better than Phoenix.
They're better than Phoenix.
Yeah, they're
San
better than
Antonio.
Phoenix.
Nice.
Spurs? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
No,
pick them in a
no.
playoff series. Yeah.
Yeah, experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're better than them.
Now the last one should be pretty easy. Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yes.
Yeah. Jazz.
Yeah, they're better than that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
hell yeah.
And
Them niggas
Pel-
suck.
Pelicans. I
Yeah,
mean, Pelicans
yeah.
is free. They're too injured right now. So
Even if they're healthy, man, they're still better than them.
maybe. But for where I got the Warriors right now, I honestly think the Warriors at the very best, at their very best, get to a 9 or 8. I don't think they move that much. I think the Jimmy Butler move was nice so Steph can get his numbers back to a somewhat healthy position so he doesn't have all eyes on him when he has the ball. But it's not enough. I think this is just something that was done to make Steph feel a bit of relief, knowing he's at the tail end of his career and he does not want to be overly exhausted. I think they already know Steph is too committed to the Warriors franchise at this point, and the whole doing a move at this point, blah, 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 is just not worth it. I think Steph's just like, they want to make it easier for Steph to suck it up until the very end because of what he's done for this franchise. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And that's just that. I think this is a cooked meal. It is a finished product. And it was a great couple entrees we had, but right now, I mean, dessert is not hitting. It's not sweet, so that's what I gotta say about this Jimmy Butler trade. But as we went through these teams, we talked about their comparison between where the Warriors rank for their matchups and who's better in terms of just overall everything, right, compared to other teams. Jimmy Butler's not the biggest trade that happened here. He's one of the big ones, but he's not the biggest. The next one that I want to discuss here Blick, you're going to thrive over here. Let's talk about DeAaron Fox and his new move to San Antonio. When we take a look at D Fox here, D Fox is definitely getting acclimated to this. I can't even call it the Greg Popovich system because Greg has still been out post his little health incident he had earlier this year / last year, no?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like right now, I mean, D Fox is in a brand new system. The Spurs are also in a brand new system, and right now, I mean, when we take a look at it here, Michael, what are his stats he's looking at? Like he's averaging what, 7 assists right now. About what,
Talking about
3, 4 rebounds? How many points?
Are you talking about De'Aaron Fox?
D Fox.
D Fox is averaging 22 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds on 50, 29, 76. So he can't shoot. He hasn't been able to shoot in this stretch, but he's been contributing greatly on that team though.
Yeah. So, all right. So we've seen D Fox for a few games. Right now, I believe their record is what over these past previous games? They've won.
I think they've only won like I think it's like 3-1.
No, it's
No,
3-2.
they won like 2 games.
It's 2-3.
Yeah.
I was about to say I know they lost like 3 games.
They lost to the Hornets, then lost to the Magic, and then lost badly to Boston. So they are not ready to win anything this year, but that's fine. It's not meant to. It's not. This was not a 1-year move.
I see it on your face, bro.
The thing is, like, part of the reason they're bad is because Chris Paul is not on the bench.
Yeah. No,
they're closing games with non-shooters on the floor. I think they're not trying to win, and it is gonna make me look bad because I said that they were gonna make the playoffs last week. And like they are not gonna make the playoffs. They are not gonna make the playoffs.
I mean, even without Chris Paul, because I'm gonna say this. I know I'm a key pusher of that. Like plus minus doesn't mean anything. As an isolated stat, but I will say, like, because it's always like context removed and there's a lot of like noise in there. But I will say, in the times that he's played, Chris Paul, that is. They have a positive plus minus. So So the thing is, to me, the issue is not that it's not just Chris Paul. It's just that the team's not good enough, which is fine. They're rebuilding.
Yeah.
They just, which in my opinion, there's only one. I really only have one problem with this move, and that's the fact that the move is, it's a win now move on a team that's not ready to win now, because De'Aaron Fox isn't old, but he's not young either. He is 27, I believe. And
yes.
And as a 27-year-old, that means he probably has a good 6 years of being like at his absolute best, which means by the time he starts to decline is when Wemby will start entering his prime. So
I think that's fine.
So I have a question for you.
What is your question?
So do you think they're doing this because they feel like Wemby's gonna take a massive leap to the point where they're going to be in a position to win sooner rather than later, so that you get someone like a De'Aaron Fox that can be ready for when Wemby takes that leap?
I think it's a part of it, but I think the other part of it is the fact that they can already tell that Wemby is tired of losing.
Yeah,
I'll be tired of losing as well.
Hey,
yeah, no.
Blick, can I say something?
You go for it.
Wemby's good enough to win the championship right now.
Elaborate.
Wait, no. Let me ask a question off that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
If Wemby's good enough to win a championship right now, always say, is he the number one option to help them win a championship?
Yeah,
that's also
maybe
my
not. I think if I'm talking, yes, I think this is what I'm saying. Wemby has a ways to go offensively.
Yes.
In order to be a number one option on a championship team. But this is what I'm saying. When you have the best defender, if he's not the best, he's the second best defender in the NBA, you can win a championship with that. Like right now. It'll probably have to be more by committee than like one guy dominating it. But I think if you have Wemby right now is all defense first team. He's defensive player of the year caliber right now. And you can win a championship with that.
So the reason I disagree is because yes, I think he is a great defense. I don't think he's one or two though. The reason being is because if you're talking strictly about shot blockers, he's easily the best. No questions asked about that. But there are other things about Wemby's defense, like especially in the perimeter, he's just not right. He's not there yet. And that's something that's going to come with time. It's something that's going to allow him to be like probably the greatest defender we've ever seen when that happens. And then the other issue is, as you stated earlier, his offense isn't there yet. So because of his inconsistent offense, I think that's going to lead to them not being. I think that's going to be the reason they're not going to win the playoff series. Yet.
So do you think?
Are ready for playoff series?
I think it depends on who they get.
Do you think Wemby's, because the thing I've noticed about Wemby is Wemby settles a lot for jumpers, man. When you're that big,
reason.
man.
Well, that's what I'm talking about when I say he's
that's what I was gonna say.
Offensively.
Yeah, because I feel like the way Wemby's trying to play, he's trying to play like he's Kevin Durant, bro.
He is.
Well, that's what they projected him to be. He's just not that yet. He's just not.
Yeah, okay, I get that, but bro, until then, attack the basket.
Well, I'm gonna be fair. I'd agree to a certain extent because I'm tired of him shooting as many threes as he shoots. However, I think the thing is, the team sucks. So if the team sucks, the best time for you to be able to improve on that would be now.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
goes back
I
to
just think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that goes back to my initial question. So it's like right now he has the opportunity to do whatever he wants because of the lack of just talent on his team, right? But it's like, let's say we move Wemby to another team. If we moved him to a contender, Wemby's not taking as many shots as us. Wemby potentially is not even being utilized as heavily as this. Wemby might have a completely different role, in my opinion. We could see Wemby not only, I don't even say primarily being like a defender per se. He's still, in my opinion, like a 20 point per game kind of guy. But I don't think a lot of other systems are going to settle for him being outside the arc shooting 15 3-pointers per game. I don't think they're going to settle for him taking as many mid-ranges as well. And it's like, not only because of not his skill set not being able to do it, but because there will be better options to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question. Yeah, I got a question for you guys. So,
Go ahead.
How many shots is Wemby averaging playing with DeAaron Fox compared to what he was like? Let's say, how many shots is he averaging playing with DeAaron Fox? Because surely his shooting percentage has gone down because you got another guy that's trying to shoot the ball or trying to score as much as you are. Like, has there been like a big difference or whatnot, or is it still the same?
I would doubt it. I think everybody else got their shots taken from them, not Wemby.
Fair
I don't know that to be fact. I haven't seen it, but I would imagine that's probably it.
So here's what I can tell you, because I've watched these King games. So again, this is just an eye test and no real numbers, right? But
Spurs.
Yeah. Spurs. So here's the thing. You just added DeAaron Fox, but if you take a look at DeAaron Fox realistically, if you're watching the games, he might be averaging 22. But, I mean, we talked about second half, fourth quarter Fox. He's not taking many shots until we really get to that point. So his field goal attempts are already pretty low. He's averaging, maybe 19, even less than that potentially overall. Maybe like 2 or 4 from the arc. And then you have Wemby, who some games you could see him averaging like damn near 25, 26. And then other times he might have like less than like 11. It's very inconsistent. But even with the new addition of De'Aaron Fox, it's really like the people who are shooting on that team is De'Aaron Fox, Vic. Stephon Castle is doing a lot more shooting, in my opinion. I'm seeing him do a lot more.
He's going to be pivotal for them. He's going to be pivotal. That was great that they were able to keep him. That was amazing that they were able to keep him. I don't know how they were able to keep him, but that was good that they were able to do that because he's gonna help them in the long term. But good to
Yes, no, he is. And I have a whole nother segment I even have on Stephon Castle that oh my goodness, I could really talk about Stephon Castle for a little minute right now. But it's like, I wouldn't say that the addition of De'Aaron Fox is taking away shots from Vic, like his percentage is going down. Because when you take a look at De'Aaron Fox's assist numbers, they're actually going up. So it's like, before on the Kings, he was averaging, barely 4 or 5, if that. Now he's averaging, 8 in San Antonio.
You're talking about,
So,
De'Aaron Fox? You're talking about De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah.
He was
De'Aaron
6.
Fox.
He was averaging 6.
Is it? Okay, so but I think it was like a weird 6. It was like inflated sometimes.
A weird 6? What does that mean?
A weird 6 means some games he
6.
gets 3, other games he gets 7, so they balance out.
Of course, but that's how his stats are with the Spurs. He had 13 in his
Yeah.
first game, 6 the game after, 9, 6, 5. It's always like that. That's how the stat.
That's a lot more consistent though. I get what Cosmic is saying because in the Kings, even though De'Aaron Fox was their number one option, they ran a lot of their offense through Sabonis.
Thank you.
Like they ran
Yeah.
a ton of their offense through Sabonis.
Oh yeah, that's not wrong. It's just that like I'm looking at his assist right here. He has like massive stretches where they hover between like 6 and 10. It was only like there's only like certain games where it's like 3 and 6. It's like 3 and 4 and 5. It's like not very common. So that's what
I tell y'all when Chris Paul gone, that boy is gonna be averaging 8 assists next year.
yeah.
I'm telling y'all.
Watch
He
it.
gonna be averaging like 8 assists next year.
I told you guys they ain't winning shit until Chris Paul's gone.
I don't think Chris Paul's the problem.
No, it's not that he's a problem.
Yeah, they need what they need is they need somebody to whatchamacallit. They need more what's the word I'm looking for again? Supporting pieces. Because right now look at their roster right now, bro. This is their starting lineup. De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, which stupid by the way. Devin Vassell, Victor Wembanyama, Harrison Barnes. Then let's go to their bench.
Ugh,
Stephon
that's
Castle.
nasty.
Stephon Castle should be starting, mind you.
He should be starting.
He should be over Chris Paul 100%.
But
Yes.
you're benching Chris Paul if he's there. You're benching the fuck out of Chris Paul so you can move Evan Vassell to the 2 and Castle to the 3. But no, but anyway, yeah, Jeremy Sohan, Stephon Castle, Julian Champagny, Keldon Johnson, Sandro Mamukelashvili, Bismack Biyombo, bro, Jordan McLaughlin,
Yeah, no.
Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley. Yes, they're not winning anything with this team, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that he's the worst player that you just mentioned because he's far from it. I don't like Jeremy Sohan playing next to Wemby, and I definitely don't like him playing next to Wemby and Fox. I just don't. I don't think he fits this roster no more. Personally, I'm not even saying he's a bad player. I just he don't fit the
Yes,
roster.
you won't say it, I will.
So, so my question is, what player do they need, and what's like you can pick any player as a stylistic or a type of player that you can put that will help this team take it to the next level.
I truly can't answer that question because I have no idea who would be available for this. I do.
No, I'm saying type of player. Forget availability. Type of player that would fit.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm not even. There is no answer to that. The answer is they need quality NBA players on the bench. It doesn't matter who. It just matters that they have quality NBA players. These aren't quality NBA players they have.
Their most pressing need is a center. They have to move Vic to the 4. Vic is not a center. He don't want to play center. Don't make him play center. Like he don't want to play it.
That's the problem, though. At least as he is, as stylistically, he has to play center because when he played 4, he was not doing good for his projection. Like he was playing all right for a rookie, but he was not playing up to the projection that he was like projected to be. When he switched to the center, he was much better. He improved dramatically after he switched him to center where he was supposed to be.
I think it would help now that he has a point guard.
I mean, maybe, but I'm like, I personally feel the other issue is that if he switches to forward, so we're gonna have him guard Giannis, and consistently, we're gonna have him.
No, you don't have to. So the thing is, depending on what kind of 5 you get, you don't necessarily have to you can cross match positionally like LeBron does it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like you could, if you had switch Isaiah Hartenstein to this roster, right? That would make them a lot better.
Isaiah Hartenstein? Yeah.
Yes, because they have a traditional center. And not only to piggyback off of that, I understand Wemby wants to play the 4, but this also, I think, even for UT, you've mentioned it, I don't think we want him at the 4, though, because when it comes to Wemby and it comes to him guarding the perimeter, I don't think he's there for it. I don't. Realistically, the size is there, but, the speed matchup, he can't do it. I think there are plenty of people who could be at that where it's just, it would not be ideal for him.
So let me ask you a question. If you get Wemby a center that's mobile and athletic enough, say you had, an Isaiah Hartenstein, say in some world you could get, a Bam Adebayo, somebody like that, right? And then you go De'Aaron Fox, and then you go 6'7", 6'8" at your 2 and 3 spots. And so you just got all sides out there that can switch everything. That makes them a lot better than me. Like, that's a damning defense.
That makes the team a lot better, I would say, yes. It doesn't make Vic better, but it does make the team better for sure.
It does.
I think it does. I think it hides his deficiencies. Like, if you had like if you could move like a PJ Washington to this roster, and if you could move who's like a big two.
A big two.
Can't think of anybody right now. But if you could have like a big, if you had 5 out, all 6'5" and up.
Okay, so a big two would be
like who? Cam Johnson, if
Cam
he's even a
Johnson,
big two.
Cam
I don't know if Cam Johnson would play two.
Cam's a 3 and a 4. He doesn't.
Okay. Let me Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, yeah. Well,
if you had Devin Booker,
is he a 6'5"? He's not a big two.
He's a decent size two. He's average. He's an average two.
What if you have let's use it for example. Cade Cunningham could he
Cade's
play
a
two?
1. No,
He's
could he
a
play
pure
Cade-
one. Cade would be a terrible
would be a
two.
pure one.
He'd be a terrible two.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Okay, think about it like this. Think about it the reverse of how the Warriors built Steph Curry's roster, where Steph Curry's 4-man was undersized, but I mean Draymond realistically played 5 a lot too because he just played up, but he was their point guard pretty much. And then Steph was the small man, and then you had Harrison Barnes 6'7", 6'8", Klay Thompson 6'7", 6'8", Sean Livingston 6'7", 6'6". You had Andre Iguodala 6'7", 6'8". Like if you had that around Vic to where it's like, even if they switch me on the perimeter, my backside help is straight length.
So
you can't do nothing with that.
So you want the team to be built like the Cavs is, because the Cavs are massive.
Yes. I want it to be like the Celtics, like the Cavs. I think Vic would thrive if he just has straight. They don't even have to be great defenders, just size, just straight size. One POA guy and everybody else that can just straight switch. Like and he'll never have a problem on defense. He'll never have a problem on defense. Because you can hide him anywhere. You can move him from possession to possession because he just gets to do what 2020 AD did. He gets to roam. So he's not going to be as good on the perimeter as 2020 AD was. But that's not even going to – it's not going to matter that much because another problem that we had was our wings weren't huge, though. They were like average size. Like KCP's average size. Alex Caruso plays bigger, but he's not that huge. If you had a huge team around Wemby, like all straight, like I said, 6'6" and up, it don't matter where he goes. Like he'll always be covered defensively.
So he's saying the team's just too small.
Yeah, I think they got pieces that just don't quite fit. I think it's like I said, I don't want to harp on the Chris Paul thing. I just really thought Chris Paul was going to get traded. I did not see him being here post trade deadline at all. That was shocking to me. So, I don't know what you do with Chris Paul. I think that I agree with BG that Stephon Castle starting 2 for this team. The place that I really want Stephon Castle to be, I think Stephon Castle is fine enough to be a bench point guard. That's where I would want him to run. So, like, on a championship level team, I would see if you could find an actual starting 2 guard that it's just straight 3 and D. Move Stephon Castle to your backup 1. Trade Jeremy Sohan for a big that can play next to Vic in space and see where they go. Like, because De'Aaron Fox, like Blick said, De'Aaron Fox in clutch moments, dog, like down the stretch of games, he don't miss. Like, and so if you're gonna be putting De'Aaron Fox on an island by himself and you're sending no help, because if you do, you're going to leave either Vic or the big man down in the dunker spot uncovered. Good luck. Good luck. And he plays in the middle of the floor. It's not like he's trying to step back and get a 3. He want to get to the mid-range and just rise up. So it's good luck.
Yeah. I agree, but to answer your Chris Paul question, this is what you do with Chris Paul. You put your hand down and go, Chris Paul, you had a great career. It's time to hang it up, man.
Time to hang it up.
Respect you. We love you. you're the point guard, but it's over with, and then you tear that contract up in his face.
That's how you disrespect one of the greats. Insane.
Hey, man. Hey, man. Get time a bottle of champagne with a nice ribbon on it. Give it to him. Bye-bye.
The other thing about Chris Paul is, and this was a problem that I had with the Phoenix Suns, it wasn't that Phoenix was better without Chris Paul, but if you remember the Phoenix Suns with Campaign, Mikal Bridges, those Phoenix Suns, right?
The bubble Suns.
They played the years after the bubble. When Chris Paul was not there, the pace that they played at was like astoundingly quicker. It was like way quick. And think about that. That was 4 years ago. So Chris Paul is 4 years older. You know, I want them young boys to go out there and run. I would love to see what Vic can really do with a point guard that pushes the pace and can get him the ball in transition. I want to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I feel that.
I can understand that. So realistically, it's like we can say that De'Aaron Fox coming to the Spurs was a step in the right direction, but now we clearly see that they need good quality supporting cast members. We can't see Chris Paul in that starting lineup because we've already seen him on both sides of that coin, from being a starter and also on the bench, and we clearly prefer one over the other. We see that he's great from a veteran basketball IQ. Realistically, Chris Paul, you could give him a few years. I think he still has time in the league, but honestly, we might even say Chris Paul would be better off if he stayed with the organization and just had some type of like assistant role in terms of like coaching or something like that, because he does bring a lot to this franchise or just the league as a whole when it comes to knowledge for these young guys, right? Yeah. But it is time for guys like Stephon Castle and guys who have that potential to start getting utilization in order to make these trades impactful. They have to have some type of we have to be willing to see the fruits of our labor in this case here.
Yeah, while that might be true, I still think they're like early enough in their rebuild for that not to be an issue for them. Because this is only like their third year in their rebuild. So they still have pieces they're willing to acquire. Because like they're still going to be competing for a lottery spot right this year, I believe.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they gave their pick next year, right?
No, they didn't. They still have
it.
Okay,
then tank this year and pick up a solid piece.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, like
why would they want to be top 6?
Oh, they have 2 picks next year. They have it with no protections. They have their own pick and they have the Hawks pick.
Now the Hawks pick is probably going to be very good because it looks like they're blowing it up in Atlanta. Trey might be on the move this summer, so
I will say this though.
So they can trade one of those picks.
That showed DeAaron Fox must believe in Wemby to risk because he didn't go to a team that's actually ready made. He went to a team that could potentially be something special.
Well,
a team that's showing promise.
Well, I think it's a
fair gamble, no.
Well, I think it's a combination because yes, he might believe in Wemby, but it's not just believing in Wemby. It's also the fact that the team he's on right now is as a historic organization in the Spurs. The Spurs are known to be like a well managed organization. I'm not shockingly the Lakers aren't really considered that anymore, but you know.
No, but the Lakers go for spurts.
Of course, but I'm saying like that's what I'm saying. Like the Spurs are always seen as like a class organization in the NBA, so that's something that's always going to be like appealing to people if they want to have a new a change of scenery. So it's so truly it's not that much of a shock because I'm pretty sure most people who were expecting De'Aaron Fox to leave this year anyway had called that he was going to go to the Spurs. At least that's what I've been saying like since the start of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so taking a look at D Fox, the Spurs obviously, I believe, made not I believe, but rather the general consensus we can say at this point is they are clearly taking a step in the right direction here. They're they're not making the playoffs. It's just not happening. Like, we're off that train. But I do want to know. I do want to know now. We asked it last week. Has our opinions changed in terms of how good the Spurs actually are? Taking away potential, realistically, rise. Do we even see them as a play-in team?
Maybe. Play in, sure. Yeah.
Well,
I think
play-in.
Go ahead.
I don't think they're going to win the play-in, but yeah, they might be able to make it.
Yeah.
Blick, your face. You were debating.
You know what it is, yeah? The thing about it is, yeah, when it comes to them being a playing team, you got to look at their run. And the biggest thing about T-Dub's statement about them finishing in the top 6, all depending on how tough their run was. And obviously, if you watch them against the Celtics, it wasn't that they were bad. It was just the Celtics was just too good for them. They just weren't ready. And when you factor that into account, it really just comes down to the fact that DeAaron Fox and Wemby are going to take time to fully gel. So there's going to be games where both of them are going to combine for 60 points like we saw them do. And then there's going to be games where it just looks like this team looks clueless. So it's going to take a lot of time. So it really depends on if they can get themselves on a run. If they can get themselves on a good run, then maybe they can make it to the play-in. And even then, if they see the team like the Warriors may just beat them just based on the fact that they need it more. They might just beat them because they just need it more. You got the more geriatrics in the Bay. They need it more than the Kings. So they might just out hustle them to victory if they go up against a team like that. But overall, if I'm them, I'm gonna try and use this period to try and get to know my teammates. Try and get to know what works best, his strengths, get him in position to make easy shots, and go for it next year. Go for him next year because I expect them to be a top 6 team next year at least.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna win the play-in, but the reason I said I think they're gonna make it is because the play-in teams right now are Minnesota, Dallas, Sacramento, and Golden State.
Dallas
It's gonna be tough. I actually don't know. I don't think Dallas is gonna drop out of the play-in though. I don't think. Actually, no. I'm looking at it right now. Maybe potentially. I don't actually think they're gonna make the play-in. Now that I'm looking at the standings.
What'd you say about AD?
AD not gonna be back in time for it to matter.
Okay.
Because I think Minnesota and the Clippers are gonna be fighting for 6, 7. I think Dallas is going to slide down to about 9, and Golden State, Sacramento are going to be fighting for 8. I think Golden State's probably going to end up getting it.
I mean, even if they did tank the Mavs, that'd be great for them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because if they tank, then they get they have their own pick this year, so they'll be able to. And this is a great draft, so they'll be able to actually replenish some of these pieces they gave up. Like Luka.
I don't think they're gonna try to though. I think they're gonna. I think the Mavs really feel like just get us in the playoffs and we'll take our chances.
Oh no, I know they don't want to pick. They don't want to pick, and they don't really, and they shouldn't aim for it. But I don't think they'll have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
because what is I talked about the Warriors' next 5 games. I think what is their next 5 games. This should be a dub. I don't give a fuck who's injured. They're playing the Pelicans, then they're playing the Warriors, then they play the Lakers, then they play Charlotte, then they play Milwaukee, then they play the Kings, Milwaukee, and then Memphis. So they have a brutal ass schedule coming up.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
And then they play the Suns and then the Spurs twice, and then the Rockets. Yeah, they're not making it.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. I would say Mavericks aside, going back to San Antonio. They have so much potential, and I think they understand it's going to be a pretty long journey to get to where they want to be. Or it's going to feel like a long journey, even though it's going to be a pretty short window realistically. I would say they're going to make the play-in if they want to. That's it. I think they have, even though it's not there, they have enough personnel to where when I look at this, I really do think that the Spurs, yes, I think they can compete with the Suns. Because, again, I said this last week. They already were competitive, in my opinion, even before they had these DeAaron Fox. They can compete with the Suns. They can compete with the Warriors. They can, I think, more so now, after this trade, they can definitely compete with Sacramento. I think the Mavericks are too injury-prone right now to where it might be back and forth, but I think they can somewhat compete there as well. And Julius Randle is coming back, and so is Dante DiVincenzo. They're going to drop. I don't think they're going to be there. They're going
That
to
boy
drop.
said they getting Julius Randle back. They getting worse.
It
No.
was so funny. I've never heard anyone goes, they're getting players back from injury. They're gonna get worse.
They're going to. And again, I mean, you guys probably don't know this. I am a hardcore Knicks fan. Julius Randle does not fit that system. The Spurs, if they want to, they are going to be able to say that if it does not affect their future picks for this year, they will get to the play-in for the sake of it to be able to say that they want to show what they can have for the upcoming season. They might honestly get to the play-in. They might be a low enough seed to where they might win or lose one of them, but it will be enough of a showcase to make people to look at San Antonio and say, wow, they can be something. They will get eyes on them, and they will show it through these performances. That's just that to me. That is fact. It's literally gonna De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, and Wemby are gonna get down and gonna do a devil ritual if they want to say, okay, how hard do we want to go? Like, it's gonna be that simple. That's all it's gonna be. Outside of that, everything else is just gonna be very subjective. It's gonna be a very strategic move that they're gonna do. But I think the Kings have way too much potential. I think they have way too much potential, and I really am curious to see where they go. What's up, Michael?
I'm with it.
Oh, no, I saw you looking.
Oh, nothing. But all I know is I was going to say that, like, it's I'll make it. I'll simplify that a little bit. What is it? The Wolves are having a great season right now, and that's all about to come to an end because the Grim Reaper of their own team is back.
Bro, I tried to tell people in the offseason they lost that trade, man. I tried to tell people in the offseason they lost that trade. Nobody wanted to believe me, bro. Julius Randle sucked. He got drafted to my team. I don't watch them. He sucks. He sucks, dude.
I watched Julius Randle when he had his so-called breakout year in 2021 with the Knicks.
Most improved.
And yeah, well, I don't even know if he won it, but
that's why he won most improved.
He did win most improved.
remember.
Yes. Don't discredit Julius Randle, brother.
I didn't remember. But I was gonna say I saw people have crazy takes about Julius Randle. I saw them say he was better than Chris Bosh. I heard a whole bunch of shit.
What?
Yes. I heard people say that.
What?
I heard people say he was better than Chris Bosh. And the thing is, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good playoffs then now. And then what did I see? I saw a generational stinker. I saw a player who looked like they never even touched the basketball before. Do you know what I had to see? I had to see a washed Derrick Rose be the best player on the team. He had to carry them. He won them their only game in the playoffs because
that's why he was coming off the. Wasn't he coming off the bench?
No, he wasn't.
No, he started that season.
Julius Randle, he had to teach Julius Randle how to be a man. That's how bad it was. I'm sorry.
He said, "I'm gonna take it back to 2011."
If Julius Randle on your team in the playoffs, it might be worse than the Shamet curse. It might be worse. I'm sorry. You are going to lose in the first round.
I'm telling you, whoever compared Julius Randle to Chris Bosh and said Chris Bosh was not as good as Julius Randle, that man is wearing Sky Zone socks for a living. He's in an insane asylum. Like, get the...
I have a question.
That's Cosmic
And
guy.
I know they weren't really on our docket today. Why didn't Minnesota make any moves at the deadline?
They don't have any. They don't have the money nor the picks.
They gave,
But, like-
they gave up
So
all
if
their
you-
picks in that Rudy Gobert trade. You have to remember that. And then all of their money and additional assets they gave up for Julius Randle.
And the thing is, do you view Julius Randle as a bad contract?
No,
guess
because
they
he's
do.
expiring.
Is he expiring?
This is last year.
Oh. Then actually, I guess they want. Actually, that makes even more sense. Then they want to get off that money.
Maybe they
themselves.
just want to get out the books.
Yeah, they want to.
But why? But why not trade Mike Conley?
Because who's going to take a washed Mike Conley with no picks attached?
I mean the Lakers might.
We're not taking no damn washed Conley.
I'm just saying we might. I'm saying we
we
might,
got-
nigga.
Gabe is
You know what I'm
better
saying? I don't know.
Gabe is better than him. Gabe,
I don't
we already
know.
got
I don't
Gabe.
know.
I'll keep
I'm
Gabe.
saying Mike might do what he did in the playoffs last year, nigga. He was
already got-
hooping.
We already got. If we're gonna bank on some playoff runs, we have Miami Gabe. We're good.
Okay, as long as we got Miami Gabe, you feel me?
Yeah, I don't think we need Mike Conley.
I'm just saying. Somebody, the Warriors could have used Mike Conley or something. I don't know. They got enough guards over there.
They have too many guards. That'd be the last thing they need.
I just couldn't believe that they didn't make any moves at the deadline. The Nuggets didn't. Couldn't believe it.
They're not
Oh,
good.
my lord.
I will say the Nuggets did surprise me because I thought MPJ was out of there. I thought he was done.
The
so.
Nuggets, now that's a bigger one, but I guess they were tied to a lot of players. Like Levine was one, but I guess they were just not in the.
I don't see how Zach LaVine even fits them.
He doesn't.
You would-
because
I
he
mean-
just
I
wanted
mean-
to
even
do some
play.
shit, bro.
He plays the two, and who's their two right now? They don't have KCP.
Jamal Murray.
The Murray's the one.
Jamal
He's not
Murray's the.
Was that
No,
not?
no,
wait, I thought-
they're
I thought
starting
that was-
Russ.
The two
two.
is
They're
Christian
starting
Braun.
Russ now. That's the thing. They
Yeah,
would've-
they're
that's the
starting
thing.
Wait.
Russ.
That's just
Wait, I
you
thought
would've
Zach
benched-
LaVine's on
you
the
would've
Kings.
You would have just benched Russ, put Jamal back at the one, and put Zach at the two.
I don't
Yeah.
like Jamal
So-
running one and
Wait.
Zach at two.
I
don't
thought
like that at
Jamal was
all.
the one. I thought Russ was only in the starting lineup because Aaron Gordon was out due to injury for a hot minute. Because to me, they're starting five.
No.
We can look it up, but let's confirm it. I thought it was Jamal
I can
Murray,
find it for you.
Christian Braun, MPJ, Jokic, and Gordon. Not in that order, obviously, but I thought that was the starting five.
That was their starting five, but even when Aaron Gordon came back, Russ was still starting, and they had Jamal running two. And then Mike Malone made that comment. He said that Russ and Jokic are the best duo in the NBA,
Crazy.
and that was after Aaron Gordon was back.
I thought he was just holding it down until he got real minutes.
Gordon-
That's interesting.
Hold on, Gordon is not. Is Gordon already back? Because he's still
Yes.
Gordon been back.
He's
Still
in and out, dude.
Gordon been back. Maybe he went back out, but he been back.
He's
guess
in
he's
and
out.
out, yes.
Oh yeah, because I was looking at their latest game. He wasn't playing. I was like, what the heck?
Okay.
Dude, he
I'm about to
just
say
went back
Aaron
back.
Gordon was back. He was coming off the bench though. They were bringing him in off the bench.
Oh yeah, no. So Russ didn't play this game. Okay, because like there's a game. The first game they played against the Blazers in their back-to-back, they had Gordon starting, but there's no Russ.
Okay.
But there's also no. Where? I have not watched the Nuggets in a minute. What happened to MPJ?
He just declined. He's just regressing right now, unfortunately.
Is he?
He's definitely regressing, yeah.
Hold on. He's scoring about the same as he always has.
Yeah, but he's getting less boards. He's averaging like 3-4 rebounds.
He's averaging 7
Russ-
rebounds. That's what he averaged in historically. Like last year, he was 7. He's better than he was last year. Yeah, he's playing better than he was last year.
Bro, I bet on that motherfucker so many times. He keeps losing me money.
Yeah, you probably just betting them on the wrong games, bro.
Yeah, because
Every game
I
is
ain't
the
gonna lie
wrong
to-
game
I ain't
for
gonna
that
lie to you.
motherfucker.
But I'm gonna be honest with you though, Cosmic though. At the beginning of the season, he was kind of struggling.
No, in the beginning, he was a wagon, and then when Russ got in the starting lineup, it's like he couldn't grab anything that was orange to begin with, but a fucking jersey on the Knicks. Like that was it. That's a whole other topic, bro. I'm not gonna beat this stick.
Wait,
Look,
what?
Stick. Don't play with me, Michael. Don't play with me, bro.
Don't
play with me, Michael. Don't play with me on this cam, bro. No.
Yeah, I was just interested in that because I know they weren't on the docket, but there was a couple of teams that just didn't make any moves at the deadline, and so like we've been seeing them play, but they ain't had no new players, and I was interested by that. Like,
yes, no. A lot of teams should have made a lot of moves. I think we're gonna see a lot more interesting things during the off season compared to the trade deadline, because I think the trade deadline it had a lot of high moments for sure, but I think it's really just, this is crazy enough to say this really is the calm before the storm. And I think we're going to see a lot of teams making a lot more moves. A lot of franchises are going to become with a lot of new identities, and I'm just interested to see it. But
I think what's hurting it right now is the fact that Luka is still out of shape and Anthony Davis got hurt. Because if the Lakers and the Mavs were balling out right now, well, I mean, we only got to see him for like a couple of games, but like if AD wouldn't have got hurt for sure, like and if Luka was like in shape, which I mean you can't blame him for being out of shape. He's been out for a month and a half, but if he was like ready to go, I think it would seem a lot more exciting. It's just the biggest move of the trade deadline. The two players haven't really been even there to judge anything so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So far, the best performing player would probably be,
Jimmy
Butler. No, not Jimmy Butler. It would actually probably be De'Aaron Fox.
Oh yeah.
If I had to say who I think the worst would be, it would be Kyle Kuzma.
Okay, that's a good segue.
Here we go, baby. Here we go, baby.
Tell me about your favorite player, Kyle Kuzma, Michael.
So I will admittedly say that I have not been keeping up with how he is, with his actual like on court performance. But I know one thing about Kyle Kuzma, which is the point I talked about before, was offensively, he's not good, especially in his scoring. And I know people have been saying, I've been hearing things about people saying he's been balling out. I want to ask a question. Is 42% from the field, 22% from three, and 68% from the line on 16 points and 16 points on 13 shots? I don't know about you. That don't sound like balling out to me.
Damn. And BG, remember, he's only getting 13 shots because Giannis been out. He ain't even go get that many attempts when Giannis get back.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, like and people will be like, well, he's getting rebounds. I mean, he's always gotten rebounds. That's fine. I'm like, but did you trade Chris Middleton so you could have mini Andre Drummond? I don't think that was what you traded Chris Middleton.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't know. Like, and I'm looking at his turnovers too. He's turning the ball over 3 times a game.
Damn. How often do he even got the ball in his hands? Turning over 3 times a game.
Oh my god.
God damn.
I can tell you what his usage is. Lord. His usage is 24%. So he
damn.
So he actually has a pretty high usage for the team.
That's what I'm saying.
So all eyes are on him when he's being asked. That's pretty crazy.
He's only 29 years old. He's young.
Yes. We have plenty of young players like that, like reportedly young player Nikola Jokic, reportedly young player notoriously young player Bobby Portis, notoriously young player.
How old is Bobby Portis? 30?
But Bobby Portis look like at least like 36.
He's 29.
How are you?
Nah. Bobby Portis is like 30.
No, Bobby Portis is 29. Oh, he's 30 now.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say,
he
he about 29, 30. Him and Kuzma about the same age.
Yo, let me
same age as him.
Let me say this here. Do you know how like they have this in other sports where you got that guy that he seems young, but he actually isn't. I feel like Kyle Kuzma is one of those people that people feel like he's young because of how he acts, how he look. He looked like a dude that just been in the league for not that long. But then you deep it. This dude's been in the league for how many years did you say?
He's who Kuzma?
Kuzma. Yeah.
This is Kuzma's 7th year?
8th year.
He's been in the league for quite a minute now. The thing about it is, we just gotta hold our hands up and just say he just ain't that good.
Yeah,
That's their leader.
Kuzma was old when he got in the league.
I was about to say that people don't realize that Kuzma was not a young player when he got drafted.
Wait, what was it like? Drafted like 22, 23?
He was 22.
He was 22.
Oh yeah, he got drafted like what's that other guy? Obi Toppin age. Cause he was one of the older people that got drafted, man. But
Yeah, he's Dalton Connect age.
Yeah, so I'm like, he's been out of the big name trade deadline moves. He's the worst, easily.
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma is not someone. It's like Kyle Kuzma is performing exactly how I expected him to do.
And if anybody was trying to say he was making a huge impact, there are 500 in the games he's played. Now, granted, it's a 4-game sample, but if we're going to say he's playing great in the small sample, we can say that it's not done anything in the small sample.
Yeah, which kind of goes into my next thing. With all these teams here, we have to really see how they do. And since we're coming to the end of the All-Star break, we're going to see these teams really turn up or attempt to turn up for the second half of the year. So I'm curious to see exactly how they do, what's going on with them. What's up?
You want to talk about Luka? Because we haven't mentioned him.
Yeah, we can talk about Luka's 2 games that he played.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Luka, the first game he played, they went against the Utah Jazz. They played them both in separate games. I guess realistically, for what we saw about Luka and how he was looking, realistically, the things that we have to think about this are not only for his potential impacts for how he could be, but how impactful is he actually going to be? Because I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, T. He's still coming off that injury. He's played a little bit. He's right now still getting to that I want to be healthy state. I'm not there yet. But for where the Lakers are at, clearly, making this move, they really are looking to make a pretty big push. I don't know if it's now, obviously, but they are looking to make a big push while he is currently a part of this franchise here. So how much time can Luka really even spend off of the court to potentially rehab his health? And for the limited time they have left in the remaining of the season, how much of an impact can he make with the Lakers for the kind of run that can go on?
Let me take this first. I feel like what it is with Luka is, and this happens with a lot of athletes in sports, is he's in fine shape. He's just not in basketball shape. So for him, he just needs more games. That's the only way he can get into basketball shape. He needs to play. He needs more reps. He needs to keep on playing. And obviously, the more he plays, the sharper he gets. And then you're gonna see Luka get his first 20-plus point game, because right now he's kind of feeling himself out, trying to test how his body is, because you can tell by the way he's moving, he don't fully trust his body yet, so he's trying to test how his body's feeling and how everything's going. And once he feels comfortable, then you're gonna see him fit in. Even Bron even said, Luka, be yourself. Don't worry about trying to fit in. Do your thing. So he's just trying to see what works for the team and see what fits. And as time goes on, then you're gonna start to see Luka show what he's really about. So I would say the next couple of games, obviously the time off that he's had, is gonna allow him to be able to get reacclimated to being his former self. But there's nothing to worry about at this current moment in time.
What are you thinking, Michael? No, go ahead, T. Ashley. Tell me.
The only part I disagree with Blick, I do think he is a bit heavy. Like,
no, I'm not saying he's not heavy.
Like, he's a bit sluggish. Like, even more sluggish than, like, I haven't played in a month and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just his feet are in quicksand. So, like, I think even if he gets back into game rhythm, half of the problem is they got to figure out how to play together, because the problem with the Lakers is you got 3 ball handlers that have to learn how to play together now. So that's because with Austin Reeves, sure he was playing with LeBron, but he was playing with a LeBron that was off ball a lot. And so like while that may still be true, he kind of has to learn how to play with like LeBron that's off ball as well as Luka, who is like a LeBron that dominates the ball. So he got to figure out where he fits. And I don't think that JJ Redick is going to do the easy thing of moving him to the bench, because I feel like that's eventually what's going to happen. But I don't think that's going to come until next season. And then Luka just needs a summer to get his body back right. Like he got to heal up a little bit more. He got to get into better shape. So like he is a bit heavy. He is a bit in quicksand. But also it's just, I know what Brian said, but like they are going to have to learn how to fit around him, because the messaging, at least from the first two games that I saw, I don't think the messaging to the rest of the team is, hey guys, we got Luka Doncic, give him the ball and get the fuck out the way. That hasn't been the messaging so far. And I don't know if that's because he's coming into a team that's already playoff ready, or if it's because he's out of shape. It might be a combination of both. Either way, I think it's going to take the rest of this season and the off season before we can really judge what this looks like. And I know people aren't going to wait, but I think we do have to wait.
Let me quickly respond real quick. What I meant, I was mainly talking about because when some people come back from injury, they just look slow. They just look a bit heavier because
that might be true.
The intensity is just not the same in training. It's like as much as you can just try and do what Kobe says, I try and shoot every shot like it's a game. It's not the same because the person that may be trying to guard you is not guarding you with the same intensity and the same effort. They're not, because in games there are gonna be some people that are gonna be playing hard to the point they're gonna hurt you intentionally or on accident. You don't have that same intensity. I feel like with Luka, what's happening is what injury did he have? What
he had a calf, right?
Yeah, so for him, he's gonna look sluggish because that part of the body, he got to still trust that it's gonna work fine without that shit just going to shit again. So for me personally, him looking sluggish is normal. I saw him on the beach. You better be running on the beach because that's how you get your legs moving quick. That's how you get that quick first step running on the beach. I doubt he's doing that, but that would be somebody that could help him get that quick first step. But it really just comes down to how he manages it from here on out.
Yeah.
BG.
About Luka? Yeah. Well, you already know.
He said, hold up the jersey, nigga.
Yeah,
Enough said.
This guy's just on vibes.
I think it's going to take some time for him to acclimate off this injury. But I'm already saying we already know we have with Don. We're going to be fine. And I think he's going to be fine. I think people are trying. They what is it? We've seen the tweets. We know that people are going to say like, oh, he's washed. He already, but I mean, it's a reason why they're making these claims after 2 games, and they're not only talking about one of them because they're scared. They know what's coming.
Yeah.
They know where we're going to be. They know they're terrified. They know they don't want this to happen. That's why they were jumping for joy when the Mark Williams thing happened, because they're like, ooh, now they're finished. They know what's gonna happen. They know that they have to get all these agendas off now. They have to make jokes about us when we lost our only semi-decent center, and we had to play with a beyond washed Alex Len. They don't understand. At the end of the day, we're going to be fine because
Jeff Teague had a take that his podcast host pushed back on him with. I actually agree with him. I've watched a decent bit of Luka games, but the first 2 games with the Lakers made me realize something I never realized before. Luka is one of the greatest passers of the basketball I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes.
Yes.
Jeff Teague said that he's a better passer than Brian, and I agree with him. Like it's one of those things where it's like Luka and Jokic, dude, the type of passes that they make, like the one pass that Luka had where he dove to the basket, had two defenders around him, wrapped it around his body and got it to the 3-point line so that Reeves could shoot a three. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know he passed it. Like, I couldn't even see it. And I was like, yo, this guy is crazy. He had one to Jackson Hayes in the first game that was like, I was like, yo, I sat there and I said, yo, that's disgusting. Like, and I'm not saying that Brian don't make me feel like that too, but it, like, him and Jokic with the shot, like with the passes that, like, there is no way that anybody can get to them except the person I passed it to. It's like he is. That's one thing you cannot take away from him. He is a fantastic passer.
Oh yeah, I think he's better passer than Jokic personally, but you know.
I do too. That's what I said. BG, me and you had the same thought. I said I think Luka might be the best passer in the NBA. But I was like, I'm not gonna say but like I'm thinking it.
Because
I'm thinking it.
He can make different passes. He can make passes that Jokic can't. Jokic's passes are amazing, but there's a caveat you have to add to his passes. His passes are seen as more amazing because he's a center, and centers aren't supposed to be able to pass like this. But I think the passes that Luka makes, Jokic can't make those because he just doesn't have that type of. He's not able to move the way Luka can.
Yep.
But that's the reason why that's why I'm like, so it's not a competition to me.
Luka's gonna have a 30-point triple-double in the playoffs, and everybody is gonna forget the fact that they said this week. Yeah, like Luka's gonna have like a 30-point triple-double and is gonna dominate a game in the playoffs, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, we forgot he's Luka fucking Doncic. Like,
Yes, how quickly they forget. I think Luka is going to impact this game, or this team rather, and I think we're just seeing the same thing that Luka Doncic does every year when the season starts. You have a slow few games, you question what's going on, and then when he has that 50-pointer where he drops 35 in the first half, and you go, wow. What do you say?
He's one of the greatest basketball players ever.
Yes, and the thing is, he's going to be doing it aside a LeBron James, who's going to get, I would say, in the past probably 2-3 years, his biggest form of relief from having to do just about everything on the court. And we're just going to see the Lakers thrive in a bunch of different ways. You have guys like Austin Reeves, who have stepped up tremendously, who are help really, move the ball. I think the Lakers have, at this point, they're going to have amazing ball movement. I think they're going to have some really good pieces scoring-wise as well. And I think this is another situation where this is just a small preview of what's to come. Because in that offseason, if Rob Pelinka does his job, man, it's going to be... Luka Doncic is going to have the roster that was needed to win that championship when he got there.
Yep.
I just think it's that. Luka Doncic is getting what he needs to win. And LeBron James is going to get that piece that's going to allow him to get that 5th ring. Potentially 6, I'm not going to lie. Because I don't think LeBron's slowing down. I think he's just way too good at this point. So...
Well, he did skip out on the All-Star game today for the reason of saying he feels that it'd be like he wanted to test it, but he said it would probably be best for him to just rest it because we have another 30 games left of the season, and he wants to lock in on that.
Bron is focused on winning so much.
Bron trying to get that shit this year.
Yes, I do not think
That's
LeBron
what
James
that's
winning around.
Someone did say though that this, if anything, this should tell you specifically because of the fact that he was willing to skip the All-Star game, he's not retiring this year.
No, not at all.
No,
not at all.
not even close.
LeBron James has another, in my opinion, it's crazy to say Bron probably has another 4 years in the league. He probably does. He probably has another 4. Nah, I don't think it's crazy. I think the fact that he's doing this at this age is crazy. But if LeBron James if LeBron James went down in every single category by, let's say, 3. Let's say he averaged 3 less points, 3 less assists, 3 less rebounds.
He's 25-5.
That's the point. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. LeBron James at his very worst is better than half of you niggas, bro. Like, respectfully, bro. That's just a matter of it. LeBron James has 4 to 5 more years of basketball. He has 3 more good years, and then he has a 4th that is going to be questionable.
He's not
But
gonna
even
be in,
then-
he's not going to be in the league for the questionable part. He knows himself. He knows
Yeah.
his body.
He knows. The second LeBron James, the second a fuck you 3 doesn't work in a game, LeBron James is going to hang it up. That's
Hey,
fact.
put it
And
like
he's
this.
going to know before
put
we
it like
do.
this. That game that with Luka, that game that he had 2 years ago, BG will remember this. The game 4 in Denver, where LeBron was literally the only person in LA that showed up to hoop that day. That'll never happen with Luka Doncic on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's another thing too. Like you said like the moment that the fuck you 3 stops working, he's out of there. The thing is, in 2023, he couldn't make a 3 to save his life, and then people were saying he was declining, he was washed, and then the year after, he had his best shooting year of his career. At this point, he's never really going to decline. It's in the way that people think, because somebody said it perfectly. This is the decline. What he's playing right now, this is the decline, and I think this is pretty much as bad as he's going to get.
Hey,
I
if
agree.
LeBron decided to go straight post moves, he's still Karl Malone. It's just straight post work. He 18-8 off post work.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see what happens. I'm curious to see exactly where these teams end up post All-Star break. I think there's a lot of potential to go on. I think there's just a lot of things that we're going to see here. But outside of that, man, I'm really just curious. So I think next week I really want to pick it up, see exactly how these teams start revving it up, who's really going hard. I want to see all of these trades show real fruition, and I just think it's going to be probably the craziest thing. But outside of that, I mean, that's really all I've got. I think I want to hear what you guys have in the comment section below. Let us know, how are the trades looking? Who won these trades? Have your opinions changed since we've had the small sample size? Do you think there's still yet more to come? And do you think that this really is potentially the calm before the storm? Is the league going to be just completely shaken up by what we got? Let us know in the comments below. Outside of that, thank you for everyone tuning in. This was another great episode. I'm definitely curious to see what goes on in the future, but let us know who you really think is just going to be, who is the best out of what we got right now. Let us know below. But outside of that, we're going to wrap it up and sign off. Thank you guys as always. This was another great podcast. If you guys have any more closing thoughts, feel free to get them off.
Nah, it's been a good episode, and yeah, that's it.